Hello there everyone, welcome to another World of Tanks console video with me, Womboldy. And we're going to take a look at a couple of games that we had in the German Tier 8 tank destroyer, the Jagdpanther 2. Now this is a tank that I've not been getting on with particularly well, albeit it's not fully upgraded at the moment. I don't have the top gun, but I'll be perfectly honest with you, I would much rather take the Tier 7 German Jagdpanther, give it the hit points of the Jagdpanther 2, and change pretty much nothing else about it, and I'd probably be more comfortable on the battlefield in a Tier 8 and a Tier 10 game in that tank than I am in this. The problems with this tank really is it's much bigger than the Jagdpanther. It doesn't have any gun depression to speak of, and yeah, it just doesn't feel quite as mobile as well. And I haven't really looked at the stats, but I'm going to take a guess, given the size of both of them, that the camo factor on this is much worse than the original Jagdpanther. So yeah, I would much rather have a Tier 8 Jagdpanther with 1300 hit points, and I'd be much happier with that tank, I believe. But the gameplay we're going to look at here is certainly nothing to shout about. What we're going to take a look at is a couple of examples where you know the battle has been lost in the first 30, 45, 60 seconds. So here we are at Malinovka. And one of the most crucial things about this map, as far as I'm concerned, is the hill up in the top right hand corner, or top right hand corner as we are standing at the moment. And we have kind of headed in that direction. Now, we're going to go up the hill, but as we notice from the map, and you'll see I keep looking at the big map, and yes, a lot of people do point out why not just have the big map on the screen. I'm just much more comfortable with the circular map when it comes to close combat. But none of my team have made their way up to the hill, and as far as I'm concerned on this map, we are already in big trouble. I was going to go to the position I went to there to support anybody that went up the hill, and also to get some shots across the map, but given that none of my team have decided they want to contest the hill, I'm 100% certain there will be members of the enemy team on their way up the hill, and as soon as I get spotted by them, I am a dead duck. So I'm going to basically back out of this one and head back down to a position I very, very rarely play. But yeah, we'll keep looking at the middle, the big map here, because I'm going like, why is nobody going to the hill? Why is everybody going into the middle of the map? And yeah, within about 90 seconds of this one, I was 100% certain this was going to be a loss. We've given up the hill, we've given up the high ground, they've already advanced down the other flank as well. Our team had, within 2 minutes of the battle, been squashed into a very small part of the map, and of course it's a pretty open map at that. We're 4 tanks down already. I've not even fired my gun yet at this point. Fortunately, we are going to get a little bit of damage into the T-21 coming this direction here. We get spotted for that, but we get a hit into them. We try and advance forward to the buildings. We've got a couple of Tigers coming up there as well. We take a hit for a bloody big hit at that as well. 395 damage into the side. We get ourselves unspotted, and really at this point, you know, I don't really think there's any way back, even though, you know, it's only, you know, 9 to 13, which is definitely a disadvantage, of course. You can come back from this, but, you know, the Tiger to my left hand side is doing a bit of damage to the tanks trying to advance down this flank, but it's very, very, very rarely that you'll come back from this kind of situation. You've just been squeezed into a corner of the map, and if the enemy are sensible, they'll just gradually close that gap down. The light tanks will spot up, the medium tanks will spot up, and you'll just be getting shot at from all directions. And really, in this situation, there's not a lot you can do except be out for yourself and try and get a little bit of damage before the inevitable happens. So as I said, Tiger 2, my left hand side is doing a bit of damage, taking on these Tigers here. We're going to put one into the Tigers in front of us. We're going to advance up, close the gap. We're going to, of course, bounce the next one, because Tigers just bounce rounds they shouldn't be bouncing. But we do get the kill shot into the Tiger with the third round, and that takes us up to 1,000 damage. We've got a CS-53 and a Lioness chipping away our hit points here. We've been hitting the side from something as well. As I said, we've actually just spotted a tank for the first time in the battle 4 minutes in, and as I said, you can just see the inevitable is happening here. It's just a case of trying to get off as many shots, as much damage as possible before we are removed from the battlefield. Try to get one into the Lioness's cupola there. Looked pretty close. And then I am assuming the Lioness puts a premium round through our superstructure, given the position that we're in. which is a pretty good shot because the Jagdpanther 2's superstructure is usually fairly handy. But yeah, that was that one. As I said, just one of those games we've all experienced them. They seem to happen in quite a lot of World of Tanks these days, to be honest with you, where you knew it was over almost as soon as it had begun. So moving on to the second battle of this video here, and we're on Abbey. It's a tier 10 game. It's a bit of a strange one because I think it's like 5 tier 10s, 1 tier 9, and then the rest are made up of tier 8s. And I'm going to move up into this bush line here to try and get some early shots for anybody that wants to come down this valley. Normally get a couple of tanks that want to venture down here, so you can normally get some early damage into anyone that does that. And obviously being a tier 10 game, I don't want to be too adventurous. Now we do spot up the LMHV there, who then gets very quickly removed from the game, and I got no spotting damage for that one, which, you know, I definitely got the ribbon. It was definitely me that spotted them. The little sign appeared over their tank on front of me, so we never get any spotting damage for that, which did, you know, I was kind of a bit perplexed by that, but maybe there's a reason for it that I am not aware of. But either way, their light tank has been removed from the game. But again, just looking at the map, you can see our team are very, very slow to get out the gates. The first 60 seconds of the battle, if you're in a tank, if you're a top tier tank, if you're in a heavy tank, if you're in a tank that's got a bit of armour, a bit of speed, those first 60 seconds of the battle are so important to spread out and try and get some control over the key points on the map. You know, so where's vital to control on Abbey? The cathedral in the centre. Well, cathedral, what are we talking about? The Abbey in the centre of the map. You know, you've got lines of sight down both sides. You can spot the enemy team up at the back of the map if you get up there, but not one of our tanks has decided that they want to try and contest that part of the map at all. And you can bet your bottom dollar that the enemy team are already there. And as soon as they get there, they've pretty much got control of all the vision across the map, and our team is very quickly going to be melted. So again, I already know this one's lost. I've watched a Death Star just drive across the middle of the map as well, and I'm thinking to myself, like, how's that guy managed to get to tier 10 with that kind of driving about and that kind of meandering about the map? And to no surprise, they will very quickly be removed from the game. We've got a CMV here beside us. We've got a T110 E4 coming down that flank there. I'm just checking what tanks are actually behind me. Are they going to be able to hold off these tanks coming down that flank for any length of time? I seen one was a T62. I'm thinking, okay, that should be enough to at least hold them up for a couple of minutes. Can we get some damage with these tanks that are advancing here? We've got a CDC. That one looked like it went right through the tank on my screen. Missing the shot there. We do get the second shot, and I'm going to set them on fire, so maybe that makes up for the RNG of the first one. We've got their platoon mate coming down as well. I'm so glad these guys decided to do this, by the way, because this would have been a 0 damage game for me if these two tier 8 French mediums hadn't decided to be so bold and brash. But they've obviously read the map as well. They can already see that our team is melting faster than, you know, something melty. What's melty out there? But we get 1479 damage in before we get ruthlessed from behind. So yeah, just a lot of games going down this way on World of Tanks for me. These games are you know, your team, your top tier tanks just don't seem to take advantage. Your light tank doesn't want to seem to go to any of the places where you expect your light tanks to go. Your tier 10s seem incredibly passive. If you're bottom tier, you know, what can you do sometimes? You know, you can't kind of be leading the vanguard in a tier 8 tank in a tier 10 game. But yeah, I'm sure you've all been there. I'm sure you know where I'm coming from. But yeah, those games where it just seems lost in the first 30 to 60 seconds seem to be more and more prevalent in World of Tanks. And I'm not really sure why that is. But thanks for watching, folks, and I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.